Car Mechanic Simulator 2021 is about to release. The demo is out now. You can take a look at my gameplay, or you can pick it up and play yourself. And without a shadow of a doubt, this is the most enhanced version of Car Mechanic Simulator we've ever seen. There is way more content than ever before. We're talking a near open world experience here. Everything has been expanded and improved, with exception for, unfortunately, some of the textures, or most of the textures. The whole gameplay experience has been improved with added mini-games, far better and more streamlined menu systems, and vastly improved equipment and areas for which you can explore and expand your operation within. The number of new items and mini-games and equipment and cars and systems that have been added are absolutely astounding. The game has expanded so much this time that it really feels like a completely new game. If you're a fan of Car Mechanic Simulator, then definitely jump on this. Right now, if I compare this to another game that's also sort of a hardcore sim mechanic simulator called Wrench, then this is very much like a mobile game at times, and it does feel like that. Despite the fact that the UI and the menu system has been vastly streamlined, and there are lots more implementations to help you discover what needs to be fixed and what needs to be changed, and keep track of what you have fixed and what you have changed. But actually, some of those systems get in the way. And the camera system that's implemented in this game still exists exactly as it was before. They've stayed very true to the original, and you will be able to pick it up and get sort of involved a lot quicker. But there are some things that have changed quite a lot, like inspecting items now is just a long mouse click on a particular area. What they seem to have decided to do is segment sections of the car, which allows you to check all 17 items of the offside rear suspension system just by pressing and holding the mouse button for 30 seconds. Now that's going to make it a lot easier for new players to play, but also some of the new systems that allow you to star or highlight things in blue that need to be replaced or repaired, they kind of get in the way because you can't actually see the engine. So it's very difficult to see what you've removed and what needs to be put back. It all kind of gets in your face. Now, one thing I'd like to see changed is the star system that they've implemented, which allows you to highlight certain elements that you need to fix. They highlight that item in blue, but once you replace it with a new item, I'd really like to see that automatically get unchecked. At the moment, you have to go in and uncheck it yourself. And what happens is that the car is lit up like a Christmas tree and you can't see anything. It kind of gets in the way. It's a little bit frustrating, but at the same time, it really does help. Perhaps it just needs to be a thinner outline, or perhaps it needs to be something that you have a keybind for, so you press it and it highlights what you need to change, and you let go of the button and it disappears. Right now, I just feel like I can't see anything. For all the help and assistance that it's giving me, it kind of gets in the way. There's a whole bunch of new systems as well, like windshield washers. The fluid system in there needs to be replaced. And again, unfortunately, it does highlight its sort of arcadey nature. It's very mobile-esque type situation. If you take something off that has fluid in it and you haven't emptied it, you will be fined for that. But if you overfill it, there is no fine, there is no system. And if you continue to fill when you've reached maximum fill point past it and it's actually spilling out over the top, there's still no fine for spilling it, and it will never stop. You can just hold that button down forever and it will continue to fill. So, I mean, it really has sort of doubled down on the casual arcade nature that has always been there. And whilst I have always really wanted to see the whole thing improve and become more realistic, in actual fact, they've doubled down on being an arcade game, and now that Wrench is available, which really is a very hardcore realistic simulation, This game is so far away from that I don't think it ever could be a hardcore sim. So this is only ever going to be a casual car mechanic simulator, which is fine, and lots of people like it for very good reason. I would like to have seen the physics on the cars improved. I would have liked to have seen the textures on all the items improved. None of that exists, but it is. As much as it's still disappointing in those areas, it is vastly better. It is massively improved. They have enhanced everything, and it does feel almost open world. You can really walk around, go from one building to the next building. There's loads of new tools and equipment and systems that you're going to be able to implement and check out car systems, etc. The whole shopping list system is better. I don't think it's perfect, but it's definitely better than it was before. It's vastly more streamlined than it was before. It's a lot easier to buy parts, replace parts, and update and enhance, etc., etc., etc. It's kind of a mixed bag. I mean, this is, I think, going to be the best iteration of Car Mechanic Simulator we've ever seen by quite some distance. But there are still many of those quirky dislikes that I've always been not that much a fan of. Like, for example, the way that the keyboard and the mouse interacts. There are things that I think should be bound to the keyboard that are on the mouse, and things that I think should be bound on the mouse that are on the keyboard. Like, for example, coming out of a camera view, I just like to right-click my mouse button and come out of a camera view, but you have to press the escape button. Yet to bring up the shopping list, you have to come out and then press the right mouse button to get up the middle radial menu. I'm really not a fan of the way that works. I basically would like that reversed, but that's me. Also, when you're filling stuff up, when you're putting liquids in things, there's a lot of spillage that's really, again, looks very clunky, very poor. It's sort of, you can see it coming through the engine as opposed to actually spilling out in any kind of realistic way. And like I say, you can just hold it there and keep filling it full of oil forever and ever and ever, and it will never stop. You'll never get fined for it. In addition to that, I like the fine system when you don't empty a liquid, but it's all too easy to accidentally uninstall the windscreen wiper fluid reservoir instead of take the cap off. You only have to be a millimeter off, and you're going to accidentally take that off and get fined for it. But in contrast, and this is what really bothers me, if you forget to put something back on the car, primarily because you forgot or you just can't see because of all the Christmas lights, etc., then you don't get fined at all. You just get another chance to fix it. But again, this is very much an arcade experience. There is no hardcore sim here. This is very, very beginner level of engineering and mechanics. And that's great because it gets people into mechanics. I can see the benefit of it, and there's a VR version coming, which I think is going to enhance that feeling even more. But definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, this is the best car mechanic simulator I've ever seen. They've added stuff in a way that really impresses me, but they've failed to improve things that I really hoped they would. Some of the lighting and some of the textures look absolutely sublime, but we've still got that rusty effect on things that need to be repaired. Now, it's nice to see that the tyres themselves actually do look like they have been worn down and damaged, but rather than wearing down, it looks like they've added a layer on top of the texture, because sometimes you can see through it and you can still see that the tread is there, although to look at the tyre it looks like it has no tread, but from certain angles you can see the tread underneath. So rather than having a worn down tyre, it looks like you have a sheath that's been put over it. It's kind of a shortcut method for making it look like the tyre has been worn down, but I'd much rather see more realistic looking graphics like that indicate that something is damaged or broken than this rusty system that has always been there. I've never been a fan of the rusty system. I really wish they'd changed that, and maybe in Car Mechanic Simulator 2024, 5, whatever's coming next, they'll look to do that, because honestly, everything else now is amazing. The arena, the buildings, the way that you interact with things, that has all been improved considerably. I just want it to look absolutely fantastic in 4K, and right now it doesn't. Graphically, it looks very similar to 2018. It has been improved in many areas, but if you watch my gameplay footage, you'll see just how many textures are really low res, just how many things are really not up to standard. Now, maybe they're going to change that for the full release, but I'd be very surprised if that was the case. And the mini games that they've added as well, I'm kind of you know, it's really has doubled down on the arcadey nature of the game. And I think some people, myself included, might not want to do these little mini games. They might find them sort of boring and pointless. But, you know, maybe they'll give you an option to turn them off so you don't have to interact with them if you don't want to. But on the whole, honestly, best car mechanic simulator I've ever seen. Miles better, miles ahead, vastly improved than any of the previous editions. Really exciting time for Car Mechanic Simulator. And yeah, if you like this game, you will love 2021. Thanks for watching. Hope this helps. See you in the next one. Take care. Goodbye for now.